Good day, everyone. I'm Arvin Enriquez, your subject teacher in General Mathematics. With this video lesson, we're going to discuss solving real-life problems involving functions under General Mathematics from your Quarter 1, Module 4. Our lesson objectives: at the end of this video lesson, you are expected to represent situations as functions and evaluate functions to determine the required quantity. Second, apply concepts learned in solving real-life problems involving functions. And last, solve problems involving functions. So with the previous BG lessons that were done, so we learned about functions, types of functions, how we evaluate functions, and the operations that we can use in two or more functions that we're asked to combine. Now, with our topic, with this video lesson, so let's start with this slide. So decision making is always part of our lives. From the moment we wake up, we start to decide the proper action to undertake, be it minor or major decisions. Yes, it is, no. In every decisions that we're going to make or we make, there is an impact or effect to our lives. In the problem presented, one of the factors that Miguel can use in making decision about the dilemma he is facing is the cost of the fare in jeepney and in tricycle. If he will ride a jeepney, he will only pay 16 pesos and 50 centavos. However, if he will ride a tricycle, he needs to pay 20 pesos. So, it will be more economical if he chooses to ride a jeepney. However, the cost of the fare is just one of the factors. There are times that convenience is also considered. Yes, not only the cost of travel. In choosing the mode of transportation, since it is not crowded and you cannot reach your destination faster. Therefore, in deciding the mode of transportation, the priority of the commuters, whether to be more economical or to meet the convenience, is considered. So please do take note, no? So the priority of the commuters is to make it more economical or to make it more convenience. So in the previous problem, we determined the cost of the fare by using table. So we simply use the table for us to visualize what will be the value of the cost of travel for a certain number of kilometers that we want or we are dealing with. No. Wherein we repeatedly add the fare charge per kilometer because there is a minimum fare. For example, for the first 4 kilometers, then after 4 kilometers, there is an additional charge in every kilometers that we're going to travel. So how can we visualize that? So by simply using a table, we just simply put the values, no, wherein there is a value of cost of travel that we can map in each values to the distance or to the number of kilometers that we wanted, no, to deal with. Thus, this type of problem can be solved using functions. So there are lots of real-life applications of a functions, wherein if there's a given situations, that we cannot visualize easily, no, by simply using the concept of function, by simply providing a variables that will represent a certain thing, situations or conditions, no, with respect to a dependent variable, no. Function is so helpful, no, for us to see and to visualize those stuff. So this will be the important thing that function, no, can bring to us. By simply using your functions, we can easily visualize, we can easily assess, or we can easily, solve certain problems wherein if we're going to read by simply reading, no, sometimes at some point we can say that we don't know how to solve this problem. But now, with the concept of functions, it is easily for us, no, to solve such as problems. And at this point, let us determine how we are going to do that. For example number 1, let's travel. A proposed light rail transit line 1 or LRT1 fare would charge 18 pesos for the first 4 stations. So you need to take note of that. LRT1 will charge you 18 pesos for the first 4 stations, regardless of the distance from each, or regardless of the distance between these two or these 4 stations, or in between stations, and 5 pesos for each additional station. So for example, your destination is about, you're going to travel and you need to deal with 6 stations. If 18 pesos is the fare for the first 4 station, you're going to add 10 pesos for that, because the additional 2 stations will serve, or we can map this one to the additional cost of travel, because this will be an additional station. So if we exceed for the first 4 stations, that's why we just simply whatever the number or which we add for the first 4 stations, we just simply multiply it by 5 pesos. Then we simply add to the minimum fare rate, which is 18 pesos for the first 4 stations. And these additional stations over the proposed fare. Now, we're asked to find the fare function f of x, where x represents the number of stations traveled. So your x here, or the value of your x variable here, will be dependent on the number of stations that you traveled. For letter B, find the proposed fare for 15 stations. So what will be the value of the proposed fare if we're going to deal with 15 stations? If 18 pesos is the cost fare, no, or the fare, no, proposed fare for the first 4 stations. Now, for letter B, what will be the proposed fare if that is 15 stations? And for letter C, find the proposed fare for the 20 stations. So for us to deal, or for us to solve problems that involve functions, you can employ the George Follies 4-step rule. So you need to deal with this George Follies 4-step rule. So there are 4 steps here. Under your George Follies 4-step rule, first step, you need to explore. So this step involves careful reading. So you need to read the given problem. That will be the first step. After reading or while reading, you need to analyze. So you need to look for a keyword or words that you can use in analyzing each of the situations being given on that problem. Next, we need to identify the given and unknown facts. So what are the given values? So how can we use these given values for us to find the unknown facts or the unknown values in the problem? And last, expressing the unknown in terms of variable. So we're just simply uh, assigning a variable for a certain unknown values. So for example, we use variable x to represent the number of students who failed the subject general mathematics. So what will be the number of students under general mathematics who failed this subject? So this will be your x variable. Again, in Explore, these steps involves careful reading. You need to read. While reading, you need to analyze. And you need to look for keyword or words that you can use in analyzing these given problems. Next, identify the given and what are the things that we need to consider for us to use this given to find the unknown facts and for us to solve what is being asked for. And the last, after knowing what will be the unknown facts, then you need to express this unknown using a variable or variables. Second, you need to plan. So in this step, writing an equation that describes the relationships between or among the variables is involved. So you need to decide, no? That's why in analyzing your given problem, you need to look for keyword or keywords that you can use for you to identify the right operations that you're going to put no in your equation, if that is multiplication, division, uh, addition or subtraction. No, what are or what will be the right operations that is suitable and appropriate for that particular problem that you can put in between your terms under your equation, no? And what will be the relations between those terms and variables being involved in your in the formulated equations from your given problems. So you really need to plan right after exploring, right after reading, analyzing, identifying, and expressing those unknown facts, no, using your variables. Then you need to plan. What will be the right equation for this? Can we apply multiplication, division, addition, or subtraction between your terms? So that will be the big questions now under your plan. For the next step, you need to solve. So right after making your equation or functions that will represent the unknown facts no, in the given problem, you need to solve now. So this step requires working out with the written equation and other numbers relations to determine the required quantities that answer the question in the problem. So you need to solve and by simply putting a values for a certain variables. So if this is the distance, what will be the proposed fare for that particular distance? So by simply using the formulated equations from the given conditions on the problem and applying those values no possible values of your variables, then what will be the value now of a given function? So if that is 2, if your x is 2, what will be your f of x, for example? So in each value of your variable, or values that we're going to put as a value of your variable in each of the functions, or to the working equations that we formulate, no, using the conditions being given in the given the problem, then that's the time, no, we simply need to solve the values that we can map on each of the possible values of your variables. And for number 4, you need to check. So after getting those values, you really need to check if that is a correct values. If your computed values are correct, no? We're not after in solving it, but it's more on getting the correct values for a particular uh, values of that we can map on a particular value of a variable. That's why we really need to check. So under check, no, the final step that employ the use of other approaches to examine the appropriateness of the answer. Why we need to check? Because we need to prove that are that the computed values are acceptable and useful and usable, no, and acceptable to use and adapt for a certain scenarios, or somehow like somehow the same, no, scenarios that being presented on the given problems. So let's now apply the first step. Your first step is to explore. So since the first step involves analysis and proper labeling, no, of the known and unknown facts, we just simply use the x variable that will represent the number of stations traveled. So your x now will be the total number of stations traveled. For example, if you travel 15 stations, your x now is equal to 15. If you travel 20 stations, then x is equal to 20. So your x here is the total number of stations traveled. There are also some conditions, no, that was set in the problem, such as the cost of fare, which is set up to 4 stations only. So the given values, which is 18 pesos, is only for the first 4 stations traveled. But what is the equations that we can use that will represent the number of stations traveled over and above 4 stations? So we just simply use your x variable here, and we subtract the number of 4. Why? Because there is a minimum rate, or there is a proposed rate for the first 4 kilometers, and x will represent the total number of stations traveled. If we subtract 4 to your x variable now, then it will represent the number of stations traveled over and above 4 stations. So for example, if the total numbers of stations you traveled is 20 stations, so 20 minus 4 now is equal to 16. So 16 is the additional stations that you traveled from the first 4 stations. So we just simply multiply this 16 to 5 pesos, because the additional charge is 5 pesos per additional kilometer stations that we traveled. So that resulting value from 5 multiplied by 16 will be, we're going to add that resulting value to 18 pesos. So that will be the total amount that you're going to pay if the total number of stations you travel is 20 stations. So that's how we see or analyze these problems. So by simply exploring, no? So in your first step, you need to analyze and you need to look for the proper labeling of the known and unknown facts. So for the second step, which is to plan, in writing an equation that will represent the relationship between the known and unknown quantities, since we know that if we traveled up to 4 stations, there is a proposed fare which is 18 pesos. We can represent it as f of x is equal to 18. If and only if your x will fall in between your 0 and 4. So the value of x is greater than 0 and it can be less than or equal to 4. So the maximum of value of x that we can put on it, no, on this function that is equal to 18 is equal to 4. Again, the value of your x here should fall in between your 0 and 4. It can be greater than 0, for example, 0.1 kilometer, 0.2 kilometer. Then it falls in between your 0 and 4. As long that your value of your x falls in between your 0 and 4, or it falls exactly to 4, because the maximum value that we can meet on this is equal to 4. Because the proposed pair, which is 18 pesos, is designed or aligned to the first 4 stations. That's why your x value to that f of x is equal to 18 should fall in between 0 and 4, and it can be equal to 4. However, if we travel more than 4 stations, the costs of the fare have different method of computation. So we need to consider it, since the cost of every station after the fourth station is 5 pesos. So in every additional stations that we're going to travel, no, as a part of our destination, for example, from point to point. So we will now obtain this scenario using this function, which is your f of x now, or your given function, is equal to 18, which is your proposed pair for the first 4 stations. So why there is a 5 here? 5 pesos is the additional uh, proposed pair. If we exceed to 4 stations, no? So we just simply multiply it 4 to the resulting value from x minus 4, because your x will represent the total number of stations traveled. We're going to subtract 4 because your 4, there is a proposed fare for the first 4 kilometers. That's why we really need to subtract 4 to x. Then we need to multiply by 5 because 5 pesos is the proposed pair for the additional stations if we exceed to 4 first 4 stations during or up or within the within our destinations, no? Now, simplifying the equation will lead us your f of x. So we just simply copy your 18 here. Then we distribute 5 to x, then 5 to 4. That's why it's 5x and negative 20. Because 5 here is a positive value. Multiply by negative 4, positive multiplied by a negative number, that the resulting value or the product will be a negative value. That's why it's negative 20 here. Now, since 18 and negative 20, these are constant values, so there is no attachment of variables being involved to them. That's why we can simplify these two terms, 18 and negative 20. So we follow the sign of the higher absolute value between these two numbers, which is positive 20. If we get the absolute value of negative 20 is greater than to the absolute value of 18, which is positive 18. Now, since 20 or the absolute value of 20 is greater than to the absolute value of 18, then we follow the sign of 20. That's why it's negative here. So now the function that will represent now, no, the given conditions, which is equal to f of x is equal to 5x minus 2. So at this point, we can say that the fair function is f of x is equal to 5x minus 2. Now, applying this, these functions for if we're asked to find the value of the proposed pair, for example, if we travel 15 stations, how about if we travel 20 stations? So we can use, or we can simply use this f of x, or under your second step, for us to go with your third step now. And for the third step is to solve. So to find the fare charge for 15 stations, the fare function is equal, or the function that we can use is f of x is equal to 5x minus 2 will be used, and 15 will be substituted to the functions because 15 is the value or the total number of stations traveled. That's why we really need to substitute this 15 as a value of all your x variables under your fare function, which is f of x is equal to 5x minus 2. That's why it's f of 15 here is equal to f multiplied by 5 multiplied by 15, should I say. So minus 2, we copy your negative 2 here. Then we simplify. So 5 multiplied by 15, that will be 75 minus 2, then the resulting value is positive 73. So by evaluating the function, so we use the concept of evaluating the function here. By simply applying the concept of evaluating the function, we can get the value of the proposed pair if we travel 15 stations using your fare function. So if we travel 15 station, then the proposed pair for this number of station is 73 pesos. So that will be the final answer for this one. And for the last step, which is to check, we really need to check whether we arrive at the correct solution. You can use table or graph. That's why it is important for us to know how to use or deal with your table and your graph and or your graph. No, it can be table and or graph. So it can be a combination of table and graph, or it can be table or graph. So thus the proposed fare for 15 station travel is 73 pesos from the solutions that we got from your third step. Now, what will be the proposed fare if we traveled for about 20 stations? So we just simply use your fair function, which is your f of x is equal to 5x minus 2, the simplified form of this function, no? So we just simply apply the value of x, which is 20, because we're asked to find the value of the proposed fare, no? For the, if we travel 20 stations, I mean. So let's substitute. So f of 20 now is equal to 5 multiplied by 20 minus 2. So here, the difference between your 15 and 20 is 5. So we multiply 5 by 5 because the difference between your 20 and 15 is 5. So we multiply this one. So it's another solution for this one. No? We multiply this 5 as the difference between your 20 and 15. Then we multiply it to 5. Then we add to 73. So same resulting value here. No? If we simplify this fair function, if we substitute 20 as a value of your x variable, which is 98 now, as a value of your proposed pair if you travel 20 stations. So for this one, so the final answer is 98 pesos as your proposed pair for the first 20 stations. So let's deal now with example number 2. So binge watch. So Lucena Network charges 450 pesos monthly cable connection fee plus 130 pesos for each hour of pay-per-view, which is your PPB here. So event regardless of a full hour or a fraction of an hour. You need to take note of this. So regardless of a full hour or a fraction of an hour. So our first task is to find payment function f of x, where x represent the number of PPB hours or the pay-per-view hours. Second, what is the monthly bill of a customers who watch 25 hours of PPB events? So that will be the second unknown values. The monthly bill of customer who watch 25 hours of PPB events or the pay-per-view events. For letter C, what is the monthly bill of a customer who watch 0.5 hour of PPB events? So for the solutions here, no, you need to explore. So know your we need to label your we need to put a label to your known and your unknown facts. 450 here as your given value in the given problem, no? 450 pesos is the fixed monthly cable connection fee based on the given problem. Now, we let X as the number of PPB hours in a month, and 130 pesos times X is the amount of PPB payment in a specific hour. Because this 130 pesos here is the P for each hour of pay-per-view event. Regardless, again, no? Regardless if that is a full hour or a fraction of hour. It means that it can be, we can cut or we can totally watch, no? For example, it's a full hour, or it can be cut, no? To a fraction. We can chop this, for example, we watch for about 20 minutes. Right after 2 hours, we watch for additional 20 minutes. That's how we see this scenario. So the payment function now is f of x is equal to 450. So that will be your fixed monthly cable connection fee. and 130x is the amount of PPB or the pay-per-view payment in a specific hour. So we just simply add this, or we just simply add the product of 130 by 2x here. So because x will be a variable and it can be replaceable to a given, for example, if there's a given number of watch hour, if that is 25 hours or 0.5 hours, then we just simply input this to your x variable here. Then we multiply to 130, then we add to 450, so that will be the value of your payment function here. Now, let's move forward with your letter B. For the monthly bill of customers who watch 25 hours of PPB or the pay-per-view events can be represented by 24 less than 25 or less than to 20 or equal to 25. So the value of your x variable here will fall in between your 24 and 25. It can be greater than 24 and less than 25, or it can fall exactly to 25. No, as long as that your x value will fall in between your 24 and 25, or exactly falls no to 25, then we can use this given value here. So your f of x is equal to 450 plus 130x. So we just simply substitute your 25 here, because that will be the given value of your watch hour. So your f of 25 now is equal to 450 plus 130 multiplied by 25. Now, if we simplify this 130 multiplied by 25, so that will be 3,250. So we add this value to your 450, and it becomes 3,750 pesos. So the amount or the monthly bill of a customer who watched 25 hours of the PPB event is 3,750 pesos. So that will be the amount of monthly bill that we can map if he watched 25 hours of PPB events, regardless no if that is a full hour or infraction. For letter C, so the monthly bill of a customer who watched 0.5 hours PPB events can be represented by 0 less than x less than or equal to 1, because your 0.5 here is automatic of it can be round up no to 1. That's how we count no using your pay-per-view. If you watch, for example, 0.7 r 0.8 r, it's considered as 1 r no. Here your x variable will fall no between your 0 and 1. It can be greater than 0, less than 1, or equal to 1. Now, still, we're going to substitute 0.5 here, not 1. But again, this 515 pesos as your resulting value, if we apply 0.5R, is still applicable if you watch 1 hour of the PPB events. So still, if even if you watch 1 hour, still it is 515. That's why you really need to make sure no that your x here now will fall between your 0 and 1 and a maximum value of 1. So it can be greater than 0, less than 1, and equal to 1. So that will be the value of your variable x here. If you're asked to find the value of the monthly bill if the customer watched a 0.5 hour of PPB events or the pay-per-view event. So we apply your 0.5 here. So what will be the 50% of 130? So that will be 65. Then we add to 450, so that will be equal to 515 here. So the monthly bill of a customer who watched zero point 0.5 hour of a PPB event is 515 pesos. So you need to deal with this one. So the final answer now for this monthly bill, if the customer watched a zero point 0.5 hour, is 515 pesos. So for your activity, you wanted to join a boot fair and you are aiming to get a profit that is twice as your capital. Your starting capital is 15,000 pesos. Make a financial plan for the booth that you will set up and the product that you will sell. You may use the sample plan below. First, what will be your product? So look around your surroundings. So what are the available uh, materials or ingredients that you can use in making your product? Then you need to describe the product. Tell something about your product. Then next is your goal. What is your goal in selling this product? So there's a fixed capital here which is 15,000 pesos. And next thing to consider is the fixed cost, your variable cost, your profit function. Now, if your capital is 15,000 pesos and you consider all those fixed costs, variable costs, what will be your profit function? So try to look or try to construct, to formulate your own profit function. It depends on what the product you want to sell and what will be your goal and description for this product. That's why in the last part, you need to prove that profit function will yield an amount that is twice the capital. Your main goal now here is to look for the profit functions wherein we can map this profit function, no, to your desired product. Then after selling this product, using your function, it made your or it makes your profit twice the capital. So you need to prove, no, that the profit function will provide you an amount that is twice your capital. So that is your main goal for this activity. For watching, please like, comment, and subscribe.